want to make sure that I'm actually growing the food that I'm eating. These were a bit of a rescue mission. It's really exciting that I've got some to try out this year. Get this plot in some sort of order. I think I can have a really good growing season and I'm really looking forward to it. Hello and welcome to my allotment plot. It's a very cloudy day today, but it's not raining. So I'm going to try and get some jobs done down here. I'm on a bit of a mission this week to sort of prep myself for the growing season for 2024. I want to work out what I want to be sowing. I want to work out what I'm going to be putting in each of my beds. I really want a really good plan of what I'm actually going to be doing on my allotment this year. So it is a hobby for me having an allotment, but it's also a way to feed my family. So I want to make sure that I'm sort of doing both of those things. I want to really be organised. So first step is to actually get this plot in some sort of order. So it's actually looking quite great. It's not looking bad at all. The usual sort of like, you know, bad weather jobs need to be done. I need to clear a few of the beds. I need to put some more wood chip down. I need to do a bit of weeding. The polytunnel needs a bit of work. I'll show you that now. So the polytunnel, as you can see, has got a little bit overgrown, but in a really, really good way. So I can harvest this purple sprouting broccoli. How amazing does that look? It looks absolutely fantastic. So I just need to tidy up, a little bit of weeding in between all of the different things I've got planted here. But a lot of it's looking really good, but it does need a good tidy before it gets really overwhelming. So my broccoli's looking really good. I've got some iceberg lettuces there, which are looking fantastic, and my cabbages. But for example, if you look at this corner here, this is just getting really overgrown, so I need to do a lot of weeding in here. But I'm really excited to get these jobs done. Actually, I'm really excited to spend this week planning how I'm going to have a successful and productive growing season this year. So this is my first full year sort of having the plot how I want it. I didn't have the polytunnel last year. I didn't have the fruit cage last year, so I didn't have a lot of this set up. So I really want to be organised. I want to make the most of it. I put so much effort in to getting it to this standard that I really want to make the most of it. I want to make sure that I'm actually growing the food that I'm eating and having fun while I do it. So I think the first step that I'm going to do is I'm just going to go around the plot with my hoe and just get rid of the weeds that are really obvious around the plot, and then I can top up the paths with wood chip. So that's going to be my first little job. So I'm going to start in this corner and I'm just going to work my way around the whole plot with my hoe. So all the paths are now looking really weed free, which I'm really pleased about. So I've just done the bits where the wood chip actually is. I'm now going to go into each bed and just have a weed in each bed. I've still got some bits to take out from last growing season. So my Cavalier Nero is still actually looking really good, but it is starting to flower. So I'm going to take that out. I've also got some leeks in this bed which need to be harvested, so they're going to come out. I'm just going to go round, have a weed, take stock of what I've got in each bed, and then that'll be another job done. So this bed in the corner here has actually got green manure on that. So I sowed that in the autumn. I'm going to hoe that down and just leave that on top of that bed now. Okay, next bed is what was the children's vegetable bed. So there's lots of stinging nails in there, so I'm going to make sure I'm wearing my gloves. But there's a couple of herbs in there as well. There's a sage and an oregano. So I'm going to just keep them there for now, but I'm going to clear the rest out. Okay, so that one was the worst one that I've had to do. There was quite a lot of weeds in there, But I've done pretty much half the beds. I've only got 6 to go, and one of them's actually covered and one of them hasn't had anything in it. So these are the only 6 I need to go. So I'm trying not to lose momentum and trying not to start doing any other jobs, because that's sometimes what I do. I start off with one job and then I see something that needs doing. So for example, those herbs need moving. I could do that now, but it would stop me from doing this other stuff. So I'm really trying to stick to my goal and do one thing at a time, focus on the job at hand. So I've got these 6 beds to go, and then I can move on to my next job. Okay, so the beds outside are all now clear. The paths are all now weed free. I do need to wood chip, but I don't want to get into that yet because I want to weed inside the polytunnel, and then that means all the weeding's done and then I can concentrate on the wood chip. So I think first things first, in here I need to have a bit of a clear out. So all this stuff that's just been left at the side, that all needs to come out, and I'll find a new home for all of that. And then I will give all of this a quick weed. I will harvest my purple sprouting broccoli, which I think is going to flower any minute, so I really need to do that. So I've got a nice little harvest today actually. I've got some leeks, I've got the last of the Cavalier Nero, and I'll have some purple sprouting broccoli, so that's really good. And then it needs a really good weed, really good hoe, get it nice and clear, and then I'll be able to see the wood for the trees. Okay, so I have weeded all the stuff that's got roots, like the dandelions and things like that, those sort of weeds. I've weeded them with a trowel, and then I've just gone over the rest with a hoe, and I've just left that on the ground, so it's quite hard to pick up because it's quite wet. So I'll leave that for the time being, and then when I come back tomorrow I can just scoop that up, or I might even just leave it just to rot down a bit. So more of an exciting job now. I'm going to harvest my purple sprouting broccoli. And look what I've just spotted on one of the leaves. A little slug having a lovely time. I think that was the last chance of me doing that. That is literally going to flower any minute. But I'm really pleased with that for my purple sprouting broccoli. Really, really pleased with that. So I'm going to add that to my leeks and my Cavalier Nero that I've got. So before I go, I want to just take my notebook and I'm just going to go round the plot, and I'm going to take note of what beds I've got, where they're situated, if they've got anything in them. So for example, I've got a bed in the corner that is my asparagus bed, and that's obviously got asparagus in it, so I can't plant anything in there apart from something that I can plant with asparagus, so strawberries for example. I've got a fruit cage that I've got permanent things in there. I've got an archway with 3 beds one side and 2 beds the other side. So I'm just going to go around and make some notes about what is in my beds. So then the next step will be going home, working out what it is that I want to grow, what it is I'm going to be sowing each month, and where they're going to be going on the plot. So I'm going to come up with a real plan. But that's it for today, so I'll see you at the next stage. Welcome to my dining room, and I'm on to the next stage of making sure that I have a successful growing season in 2024. What I've done is I've just spent the last 10 minutes just jotting down all of the vegetables and fruit that I really want to grow on my allotment plot this year. So I really don't want to get bogged down this year with trying lots of different varieties, trying different fruit and veg that I don't necessarily eat. I am going to experiment with a few things because obviously it's my hobby, it's a passion. I do like growing new things, but what I'm trying to remember this year, that the overall goal is to feed my family and produce lots of lovely food for us throughout the year. So I'm really trying to stick to a list of a lot of fruit and vegetables that we really love eating. So the next stage is for me to go under my stairs where I keep all my seeds, not very organised, you will see, and see exactly what I've got in there, see what I've got that's on my list, see if there's anything I need to add to it, see if there's anything that maybe I potentially still want to grow that's not on my list that I may have forgotten about. What I have actually got as well is my dahlias. I've just found them underneath my stairs. These were a bit of a rescue mission at the end of last year. Our garden was completely flooded. I was going to leave them in, and then because the garden was so bad, I actually decided to dig them up, and I rinsed them down and I just wrapped them in plastic and shoved them in a paper bag and put them under my stairs. So I'm going to see how they're doing now, and then I'll know if I need to buy some more dahlia tubers. But fingers crossed they are okay and they survived, because they were absolutely stunning last year. They were so beautiful. They actually feel okay. I think that might have made it. So I'm actually really pleased at the state of my dahlias. I've just gone through the whole bag and they all seem okay. None of them have rotted, none of them are too squishy. They look like they've survived. I'm so pleased because they were absolutely beautiful last year. So that's something really good that was hiding under my stairs. I'm pleased about that. So this is all the bits and pieces that I had under my stairs. So I've been picking up potatoes, which I actually need to move to chipped, which is fine. I've also got some horseradish, some shallots and some Jerusalem artichoke. So I'm just going to put those to one side because they are definitely things that I want to grow because I've bought all of those recently. So I'm going to keep all those to one side and start going through my seeds. Okay, there's no easy way to do this. I'm just going to get them all out. We're going to see what I've got and I'm going to tick it off to what is in my book. And I mean, I can't imagine that I'd need to buy anything else looking at all of this because there's just absolutely so many seeds in here. So I'm going to have a very cost-effective seed year, I think, this year. That actually comes to my question of the day. How do you decide what you're going to grow each year? Okay, so I've got lots of parsnips, which I know I had loads of success with last year, and I've still got the parsnip tape as well. So I've just ticked that off of my list and I'm going to put it in a pile next to my list there. And then these are all the seeds that I'm definitely going to be growing. So I've got a cucumber, definitely want that, add it to the pile. When I come across one that I'm not sure, so I've got carrots here and I've never had much luck with carrots. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put them to one side. I'm going to take a look at my list of what I do want to grow and how much room I've got at the allotment. From the list I took yesterday when I was down there about how many beds I've got free. If I've got any room, I might do those, but they're going to be kept to one side until I know how much space I've got for what I actually do want to grow. Very sensible. So I've got lots of pumpkins. We love pumpkins, so definitely growing those. Lettuce, definitely want to grow lots of lettuce. I've got such a big selection of lettuce and I am being quite broad here. I'm just writing lettuce and then the different varieties that I say at different times, I'll work that out in the next stage when I work out what I'm going to be sowing monthly. But for the time being, I'm just looking at lettuce. Yeah, definitely want to sow that, put it in the pile. Tomatoes, yes, we definitely want to be sowing tomatoes. I've got a big selection here. Most of them are ones I did last year. They came in a pack. And most of those I actually want to sow, so I'm not actually going to add to that any more than what I've already got. So Chris at Veggie Plot actually sells these record books. They're absolutely fantastic. So I'll show you that in a minute. But with them, he sent me some tomato seeds and they're ones that I really actually do want to grow. So there's actually one called Lucid Gem. So I've definitely got to do that one. But they come really neatly on this card and I can't wait to try them actually. So I've got ones that I tried last year And then it's really exciting that I've got some to try out this year that I haven't tried before. So really excited about my tomatoes this year. And what I'm going to do is, the first thing I'm going to do, when I've sorted out all my seeds here and I've got all the ones I want and I know what I'm going to be sowing from what I've got here, I'm going to be putting them in this record book, seed plant, when I'm going to be sowing them. So this is going to keep me really organised. I'll put a link in the channel to where you can get one of these and a link to Chris's channel. But I really rate this. I can't wait to use that. So I'm going to carry on going through this mess of seeds, ticking it off my list, setting it to one side, and then I'll write the dates in my record book. And then I feel like I am ready to go. I'm ready for the season. Okay, so I've made a list of everything that I want to grow. I've gone through all my seeds and I've actually got everything that I want to grow. I've actually got seeds for, and I've got a selection of seeds, which is really, really exciting. I've also got some other bits and pieces like tubers and potatoes and things that I do also want to grow this year. So I've got some horseradish, which I want to grow, but I know they're not going to be taking up a bed. I know that I'm going to be planting them in a big polystyrene box that I've got. I'm going to be using that because these can be quite invasive. So there's certain things that I'm growing that aren't necessarily going to take up space, but that's the next thing that I need to work out. I just need to work out where I'm going to be putting everything and when I'm going to be sowing everything. So I'm so excited about this year now. I feel really on it and I feel really organised, and I just feel like I'm going to have a really successful year. So I've now got my plan together. I've now got all my seeds. I know I've got all my seeds. I know I've got my tubers. I know I've got my potatoes. I can definitely add to it, and that's all the excitement of the growing season. You know, we always want to grow something exciting, but I know that my main goal of feeding my family and growing my own food should be met with everything that I've got in place. I'm not sowing anything for the next couple of weeks. I'm still holding off until the conditions are a bit hotter. It is so cold. I haven't got the heat mats. I haven't got anywhere to put them. I've got grow lights, but when I've done it in the past, it's just become really overwhelming for me having so many seedlings inside. And that's part of this year. I don't want to start putting pressure on myself to grow all these things and have all these seedlings everywhere, because it's something that I know with my lifestyle, with a young family, I know that I can't achieve that. So I'm almost setting myself up to fail. So I'm thinking, if I plan now, get all these jobs that I know I can do at the moment, like clearing the allotment, like I did yesterday, I had a good tidy up. I've still got more work to do down there. But if I do all of that and I make this plan and I stick to it and I do everything step by step, I think I can have a really good growing season, and I'm really looking forward to it. I just want to say thank you so much for watching me today, and I will see you again soon.